All right, so let's talk about The Deliverance, which was one of the movies that I was so excited for when I first heard about it. And after watching it, well, we got some thoughts about that. So I was going to put this video out after it came out because I did watch it that weekend it came out. But y'all, TIFF came and all of that. And I thought I had taken like the files for the audios and all of that. But turns out I didn't. And then I can't even find where I have the files now. So we're re-recording this after TIFF. So I may sound a bit tired. I may sound a bit crazy. But this is where we're at. So Lee Daniels' new film, The Deliverance, is a supernatural horror film with a very stacked cast. Like, honestly, such an amazing cast here. You have Andra Day, Rob Morgan, Caleb McLaughlin, Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor, Tasha Smith, Omar Epps came in, and I was just like, that's Omar Epps. Monique, Glenn Close. So a pretty good cast here. So this is a film that was actually acquired by Netflix for a big sum of money. And you basically follow a mother named Ebony Jackson who is trying to raise her children. She's trying to get her life back together, all of this. Child Protective Services is on her case. They're trying to figure out if she's a good mother or not. She's trying to avoid her criminal past and all of these other things. At the same time, her mother is battling cancer and she has found her faith again. And you see that they're just trying to make it. And I will say that's one of the things I really loved about the film when it first started, was this sort of drama, this sort of family trying to overcome all of these obstacles they had in their past. The mother Ebony and her mother Alberta never had a good sort of like mother and daughter relationship. They're trying to fix that, but things still get in the way, right? Ultimately, there isn't much time to really start to fix things when a unknown presence begins to stalk her children and her in their new home, pretty much focusing on the youngest child right now, Dre, and the presence is called Trey. What happens here is these apparitions, these sort of things start to happen. These animals start to appear in the basement, and there is just a lot of things that don't make sense. Some people believe it, some people don't, and we ultimately see that there is something that's pushing Ebony to sort of lash out on her children more than ever. And this starts to worry her mother, Alberta, that something may be wrong with Ebony herself. We see the protective services worker, Cynthia, as well, doesn't think that Ebony might be fit to take care of her children as well, with all of the things happening and some of the bruises that are showing up on the children. We then see one day, however, that the children have these inexplicable psychiatric breakdowns at school, and ultimately leads to one of the scenes that everybody was talking about on Twitter with poop thrown at a teacher, which was just like shocking, honestly, seeing that. Eventually we see that they go get these evaluations from the doctors and they say, I don't think anything's wrong, they can go back home. A woman has been actually also looking at Ebony and her family through her car and all of this, and she comes out to Ebony and says, you know what, I'm a Pentecostal pastor and I've actually know that this house has something going on here, because 20 years ago I came to try and help a family but I couldn't. What happened was the mother ended up slaughtering her whole family and herself. A demon had apparently possessed this woman and is now trying to do the same to Ebony's family. Ebony doesn't want to believe this at first, and she goes back to her home to find that her mother Alberta has now been killed by Dre, and the crucifix that Alberta had brought in is on fire. Then we see the children being taken away from Ebony, and she is taken to get a psychiatric evaluation because they don't know what the hell just happened in this house. Cynthia, the caseworker, however, tells them not to put Ebony in the ward, and we see as Cynthia then later witnesses Dre, who is now being taken in for evaluations, get out of his restraints and climb up a wall backwards. So now she knows there's something supernatural going on here. Ebony goes back to the pastor and she becomes a believer again in God, and we see that they both go and kidnap Dre from the hospital to bring him to get a deliverance prayer. This is almost sort of like an exorcism, it seems, right? The demon then uses Dre to wreak havoc and takes many different forms, including Alberta, the mother, well, the grandmother, and yeah, one of the most famous lines in the movie that's everywhere gets spoken here. We see as Ebony battles the demon to try and save her family, and the demon delivered a pretty funny line with saying, come on, we're all we got, don't do this to me, right? And I just really appreciated that. I'll talk about it in a bit. So we eventually see that Ebony is able to take control of everything and take the demon down, eventually exorcising the demon, and now she is free. At the end, we see that her and Cynthia, the caseworker, agree to work together so she can regain full custody of the children, and we see as Ebony gives Cynthia a cross necklace and pretty much showcasing that she has found this new faith. We see as 6 months later have passed, and Ebony is now reunited with her children as they drive to Philadelphia and announces that her and her husband are getting back together, and the movie closes out. So pretty much at the end, we saw that the only way that Ebony was able to sort of like battle this demon was that she had to find her faith in herself again. And I think that it was a demon that was targeting this family, because we've heard in many other movies that the demons will target somebody who is sort of having problems with their family or is trying to be better, but they're in a very vulnerable and weak spot right now. So they really take advantage of that. So I think that when Ebony was able to really get a hold of her life again and her faith and just be feeling this strong aura to herself, that's when she was able to go against the demon. Now, if you want to look at it in a way where it's not supernatural, you could say that Ebony was able to overcome all of her personal demons, inner struggles, and that's when she was ultimately able to become this better person, when she put all of those things aside that were sort of like defining her, who she was, and now she was able to go out and take care of her children because she had left all of that behind. And, you know, I think either way you want to look at it, as a sort of metaphor for things about these personal demons people deal with, or if there's actually a real demon out here, it works in a way as well. I will say that the movie, to me, still felt very disjointed. There were times when the movie wanted to be serious, and then there were times it wasn't, and there were times where it sort of lost its steam and it was starting to slow down for me. So that's what kind of kept it from me enjoying it as much as I would have. But I still think that it's a very entertaining film. There's a lot of interesting shots in this, especially towards the end of the film. I think it has a lot of very inspired shots from the director, and I think that the entertaining aspect of it with the demon and the lines thrown here really added to the film as well. Like, I don't even know what the film wants to be or feel like, but I still think it's an entertaining film, and I'm very curious to know what all of you think about it as well. But pretty much by the end of it, we saw as Ebony was able to really get it all together, if you will, and move forward. Now, this is actually based on a true story, apparently. Now, I haven't read much about it. I do know that they did a documentary about the home and all of that, and I don't believe the home is still standing. I believe it got demolished. So all you have is a documentary, and I do want to look at it. I'm very curious about it as well. So we'll definitely talk about it if that's something y'all want. But yeah, the Deliverance, it delivered, I think. It was entertaining. It had some interesting shots in it. I think the cast was great as well. I just think that there is something wrong with the pacing, because at times, like I said, it was going pretty smoothly, then it slowed down, then it tried to be too fast with things, and then slow down again. You know, it was just all over the place. But in terms of it showcasing something new and different, I think it did do that. And I think that the whole aspect of this family just trying to sort of get back on their feet and all of that was interesting to add to a possession film. So we'll see. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about it. I know some people just hated it. Like I said, it's in the middle for me. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I was just okay with it. But anyways, let me know your thoughts. Make sure you subscribe. 35,000 subscribers is our goal, and we got a ton of videos coming for you. We went to TIFF, and we got a ton of reviews coming pretty soon. So stay tuned. As always, stay safe, stay positive.